Hi everyone, it's Friday, noon on the East Coast, and I am going live for my little scrapbook store. Today I'm going to be combining two different challenges. I'm just pulling up the Facebook page so that I can see everyone's comments. Here we go. I don't know if anyone is on with us yet. I don't think so. So I will just give it another minute. All right, there we go. I have to figure out how to get my webcam to stop autofocusing every time I move on this camera. That is a little bit frustrating. All right. All right, guys. So let me just close the door so we don't hear my dryer going in the room right next to me. So I'm going to be working on two challenges today at the same time. One of them, originally I was just going to do the October challenge, which is to add texture to your scrapbook page. But then the My Little Scrapbook Store Scrapbooking Layouts and More group, which is this group that you're in right now watching me from, hit 10,000 members, which is super, super exciting. I can't believe we have such a huge community here. And so Michelle and Carrie, being Michelle and Carrie, have set up a sketch challenge. So the sketch challenge is this sketch here. You can find it in the group. And if we get 100 members of our community to enter this sketch challenge, you will be put in a drawing to win a $100 gift card to the shop. I mean, how awesome is that? Hi, Janice. I'm doing good. How are you today? So what I'm going to do is I am going to make a scrapbook page based off of this sketch, but instead of using 6 different pieces of patterned paper here, I'm going to add some texture to these pieces that are on the sketch here. So I have a picture of Mr. Finn raking leaves with his little apron and gloves on, and I pulled out this piece of paper from the Wood Grains Warm collection from Echo Park. This is called Knotted Wood Grain. That's the wood grain that I'm going to use. I'm going to use that as my background. And then I am using Cider and Donuts, which I think this was last year's. I think this was the 2024. Yeah, this was the 2024 fall collection from Simple Stories, but I still have a lot of it left, and I really, really love it. And then to add some texture to my page, I pulled out an embossing folder. This is from Honeybee Stamps. Michelle had this in the shop, I think, last year. I'll pull it out so you can see. I made a bunch of cards with this. It's really fun using a couple of techniques. So it's like leaves and acorns. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera. And then I have this Echo Park stencil. This is really old. Like really old. I don't even know when this is from. 2018. And I've used this a bunch of times, but this is just from the Celebrate Autumn collection that Echo Park had out many moons ago, and that's just some like leafy foliage branches. And I have some texture paste, some ink, some splatter. Excuse me. And then I pulled in my sprinkly bits because I'm going to probably use these shimmering seafoam rhinestones again. as some sprinkly bits on the page because the Cider and Donuts collection has this fabulous mint color in it, and I think that that will look really nice with this. So let me get started with my texture paste first because that is going to need time to dry. So let's pull out some pattern paper. So it looks like they're, let's see. I'm going to eyeball this. I'm going to say they're about 2 inches wide versus 6 inches long. These little pattern papered pieces on here. So I'm going to write that down in case anyone wants to know what I think the sizes of these papers are. So those are 2 inches wide, 6 inches long. I know some people really like measurements with their layouts and other people just kind of go with the flow. So I am just going to try and add measurements in when I can. And I actually see that I stashed some stuff away in this bag to give some additional added texture. I got some canvas flare and some hemp that I must have just thrown in this bag because it coordinates with it. So let's see how much of this stuff we can get on to load up the texture, right? All right, so here's my stencil. And let's find a good piece of paper. Oh, I like this. This is a contender to stencil over because I don't want anything super busy. That one has words. We also have this orange one. All right, let's see. You know what? Maybe I will add the texture to both, and then we'll see which one I like better. So I'm just going to pull out my Make Art Station here so I don't get too messy with my stencil. And then I pulled out a couple of things, but I'm really leaning towards this paper glaze. Number one, because I haven't used it yet. And number two, because I knew I had like a yellowy paper glaze, but I didn't realize it had sparkle in it. So I'm leaning towards using this Picket Fence Luxe paper glaze that's like a golden, sparkly yellow. Look at the, uh-oh. Hopefully it's not all dried out. We'll see. If not, I have two backups. I have a copper and I have a green. This I got, I don't even know when I purchased this. Let's see. Poke through this. Yeah, this is dried up. Okay, so I am not going to be using this since I'm going to try to rehydrate this and see if I can bring it back to life. But I have this copper, but I think, oh, this I did use. I hope I didn't. Oh, this copper is still good. And then I know that this is the stencil butter. This should still be good too. Let me see. Yeah, that's nice and dry and all over my fingers already. Let me grab a baby wipe so I'm not smushing it all over the place. See guys, this is truly live because I'm just messing up, opening up dried out stuff. Oh boy. All right. I'm going to use the green on the orange and the copper on the teal. So I'm going to cut a 2-inch strip, which I can then later cut down to 6 inches. Because this is a 6 by 8 inch cut. You know what, let me do 2 strips of each. And I'm going to do a very thin coating just to add some texture onto these. And then hopefully they will dry in time for the layout. Let's hope, right? All right, so my green, let me grab another palette knife. And I am just going to do kind of like it's just a messy, no like haphazard doing it, just to add a little bit of texture, because remember I'm only adding 6 inches of this onto the layout. And I'll tell you what, this Crafters Workshop stencil butter is wonderful. It goes on so nice. If you have not used this before, I highly recommend picking some up. And that is all I'm going to do on here. I'm just going to wipe this off. All right, let me pull up the stencil. We'll take a look at this. Just adding a little bit of texture. That's cool. All right, I am just going to run this under some water to clean it off before I do the next color. All right, now I'm going to do the teal with the copper. So I'm going to move these aside. Let them dry. And let me throw down these. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with this Nuvo paste. Whoops. And I'm not being very careful with this because I just want the texture. I'm not too particular about having, you know, really clear looking leaves or not. Okay. Put this up. All right, I'm just going to rinse this off real quick and then I'll be right back. Okay, so my stencil is clean. I know I'm just going to set these aside to dry as well. And I have a silicone mat here, or a silicone sheet. This is on top of my Make Art station, so this will clean up very easily. White. I am now covered in copper sprinkles and I am glittering away over here. Alright, so the next thing I want to do with adding in some texture is I am going to play with an embossing folder. Move my sketch out of the way. And the embossing folder is over here. So I'm going to do an embossing technique where I ink up the embossed paper. So I am just going to grab some vanilla, like cream colored cardstock. I'm going to cut that down into 2 inches by 6 inches. So I have some vanilla colored cardstock there. Let's get this cut down. 6 inches first. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss these first in the embossing folder. Let's see if I can fit both of them in. Yes, I can. Right. Let me grab my spellbinders. All right, let's see, what is the mat? I think this is a regular, so a standard embossing folder. A, B, and C. Okay, that's easy. A and B, embossing folder, and a cutting plate. All right. Let's run this through. Oh, this is tight. Whoa! I don't think this is right. Maybe I don't need a B for this one. You know. Nope. All right. You know, sometimes embossing folders from different companies are different thicknesses, so you might have to play around to get the right sandwich. And obviously this is a Spellbinders machine, so their sandwiches that they indicate are for the Spellbinders. Nope, that's not going to work either. Nope, that's not going to. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That goes through, but that doesn't feel like there was any pressure. So let's put a shim and see if this works. Man, today between the dried out paper glaze and not having the right setup for this, it's like, nope, that did not emboss. Okay, so now let me try my magic mat. Maybe that will be enough. No, that's not enough. Okay. So now I start to layer up cardstock on here to make it the right thickness. So let's pull out some more sheets of cardstock and we'll use them as extra shims until we get the right amount of pressure. Oh boy, this is not going how I planned. Hi, Amy. Amy, you're on just in time for me to see like my embossing folder disaster that's happening right now. Okay. So I just put a couple of sheets of cardstock under there as a shim. I think I still need to add more. So I'm going to add in some more cardstock just to keep getting that thickness that I need for this particular want to go through. Okay, there we go. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones that that's the right amount of pressure. There we go. We got it. All right. Phew. And that is the only embossing I'm going to be doing for the rest of this live. So, oh my goodness. Okay, so that is all done. And so I have some really pretty textured vanilla colored cardstock. Oh no, everything was upside down. I just opened a tub of texture paste that was completely dried out and I couldn't use it, and it was the one color that I really wanted to use. So there's that. All right, now I'm going to give this a little more life by just putting a little bit of Distress ink over it. So I just have scratch paper here so I don't get ink all over my desk. I'm going to use, this is Vintage Photo. You can see that this has had a lot of love. This is like a staple that I keep on my desk, and I am just using our regular old sponge applicator, and I'm going very lightly because I want the raised portions of the embossed paper to get the ink and not so much the background. So see the difference? It is like night and day. We're seeing the texture with the ink added on. So I'm going to do that to both. What I think I'm going to do after this is I think I'm going to go on the Honeybee website and look up their embossing folders and see if they list a sandwich to use for their embossing folders with the Spellbinders Platinum 6. So I don't have to do that again. All right, so now I have these two pieces, and the last thing I want to do to these is I want to splatter with some gold mist. And I don't have my splatter box. Let me grab my splatter box, because with the way I'm going today, I will splatter gold all over my laptop. I really don't feel like doing that today. So I'm going to grab my box, put it in. Hopefully you guys can see, and that I don't knock things off of my desk in the process. All right, it's a little out of frame. There we go. Okay. And I just have to get this bottle open. All right. And I'm just gonna add some sparkle with this. Okay. So now these need to dry as well. Pull these out. There we go. All right, so I'll hold these up closer to the camera so you can see. They're just so fun. I love this technique. And now you have a lot of texture on what was just plain vanilla cardstock. All right, let me take a look at my stencil butter. I don't think it is dry yet, but I'm going to hit it with the heat gun. So let's get these dried up. I know this makes for fascinating video watching, me drawing my little strips of paper. All right, that's getting there. This one is getting there. I don't know about this one. If this one doesn't dry in time, I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just going to use the green, and I'm going to save the copper for another project because this feels very wet even after hitting it with the heat gun. So I'm thinking that the Nuvo takes a little bit longer to dry than the stencil butter. So I think I had a second sheet of that teal in my 6x8 pad left. So I'm just going to go with some plain. And then I'll just leave the texture on these two pieces. Oh no! Well, let me tell you, Janice, what you're missing is just me messing up left and right. I'm trying to get things to look good for you guys in this live, and I am just, I don't know. I don't know. It's not Friday the 13th today, right? Yesterday was the 13th. Today's the 14th. So, shouldn't be any bad karma out there for me. I don't know. Been a good person. Been donating food to food pantries. I shouldn't have any bad crafty karma coming at me. But, alright. This is getting there. That's almost dry. I'm not going to use that copper. Let me see if I have another. I still have that strip left. Let me see if I still have another sheet of that teal. Of course not, because I like that color, so I probably used it multiple times already. All right, so when we don't have teal, we're going to pull out the minty green, and we're going to use this as my other two pieces of the pattern. Here we go. I'm pulling out my background paper. Let me cut these down to 6 inches. I'm going to cut the branding strip off of this for my background. And I'll start assembling my page. So let me pull the sketch back in. Take a quick look at it. All right. Just trying to see how I want to line these up. I think that's how I'm going to do it. While I'm waiting for that green to finish drying, let's mat up this photo. I think I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to trim it down to make it a little bit smaller. So let's make it, I'm going to make it, I think 3.5 by 5. Let me see. So right now I'm at 5.5. If I go down to 5, yeah, that's nice. Okay. Still have that soccer net behind him, but whatever. I love wood grains. Anytime Michelle has any kind of wood grain in the shop, I buy it because I use it as background all the time. Like these are so nice for like fall and Christmas time, and then there's like the bleached wood grain that's great for summer. So much fun stuff. All right, let's do a double mat because why not, right? Let's double it up. Let's add in the green, more green by using this. And let's add in some of this peachy pink. That's kind of fun with that plaid. All right, so what did I say? This is 3.5 by 5. So I'm going to do 5.25 by 3 3/4. And then I'm going to do 5.5 by 4. And that'll give me 2 nice mats with this photo, should, if my math was correct. Yep. There you go. All right, let me grab my adhesive. Where is it? It is buried in my drawer. Here we go. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to ink the papers. Let's ink the papers because inking gives the illusion of more texture. And we are all about the texture on this layout today. I think I'm going to call this texture without bulk. Because a lot of times when you add texture to things, it can be bulky, but you know, the stencil butter is in a nice thin layer. The embossing folder doesn't add bulk. I have the twine, and the twine is not bulky. And I also have, I mean, the flare is a little bit bulky, but not too bad. And I'm going to take one of Shamel Lane's design things where she just puts everything just a tiny bit off to make it look like she just kind of gathered up papers in a pile. Because I think that adds a little fun element to it. And then how's this doing? Oh my goodness, this is almost completely dry. Hooray, hooray. Alrighty. Yes, something worked out. Something worked out. And because I am a very technical person, I'm going to pull out my T-square, line this all up on my grid. There we go. All right. Another way that you could add texture would be to distress all of the edges of these pieces. That would give some cool texture on this layout. But that would require me finding it right now, which I'm not going to do. I don't know where it is. I think it's in my crop bag, which is now in my closet. All right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And once you get this all, the first one lined up, the rest of them go pretty easily together. Here we go. Thank you. I think I'm going to put it on this way because my photo will cover up this kind of empty space down here. So let me ink this. My fall allergies are starting to subside, but then yesterday when I went to go pick the kids up at school, I parked on the street and somebody had their landscaping company raking the leaves, and right as I was going down the street, like a big gust of leaf blower air came right at me, and I was like, oh no, that is not good for my allergies. All right, I'm going to trim this down to 6 inches, ink it up. So everybody make sure that you enter a project in the contest because we need 100 people to enter. And I think the design team will probably give you a lot of ideas of different ways to do it. I know Amy gave an awesome example last night of how to transform the sketch to make a card. So if you haven't watched her video, definitely go and check it out on her YouTube channel. This one will be live here in the Facebook group, and what I usually do is I download them and then I upload them to my YouTube channel because I know that after 30 days, Facebook deletes live videos. So if you can't find this after 30 days, go to my YouTube channel and it'll be there. And I usually date them with the live. So if you knew that this was the November 14th live, that thought it was a Friday the 13th live because I messed so many things up, you can then easily find it. Yes, T is having a Zoom room tomorrow. I forget what time. Is it in, Janice, is it in the afternoon or is it in the evening? Because, oh, I got all gold on me. Let me wipe my hands off again. Because I will be hiking with Cub Scouts tomorrow afternoon. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to hop on or not. But, you know, I wasn't going to do the hike originally. I was just going to send my older scout with my husband. And the little guy just really, really wanted to do it. And he has karate, so now I have to do the schedule switcheroo. Afternoon starts at 11. Okay. I hope I'm back in time to do some of that. But, you know, I don't know. Actually, I'm not even going to worry about this empty spot here because this is going to go over this. All right, I'm down to 2. Now I'm down to 1. I only have 1 of these picket fence foam tape rectangles left. Oh, so sad. Yeah, I'll have to see. Hopefully I can. Now it's like, I really want to see you guys. And it's like life is always getting in the way for me. Alright, so now that I have that nice chunk of foam back there, let's stick this on. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Let's see. I mean, the hike is at 10:30 in the morning, so hopefully, I mean, the requirement for the den that I lead, because they're 6 years old, they're only required to hike for 20 minutes. But hopefully I will be back before everybody gets off. All right, let's think of a title. I have to add in journaling. and other stuff. So let me pull out, I didn't even use any of the 12 by 12 papers from this collection. Look at me. Look at me. Oh, I have I have so much stuff of this. I did not even realize how much of this I had left still. Look at all of this. My goodness. I do need to take them on that hike so I have pictures to scrapbook with all of this. Let's see. Let's see. Hope I use, okay, oh. Yeah, I know, family first, and the little guy, he really wanted to go on this hike, so who am I to say no? Let's do this. We're going to use this Cozy Days, but before I stick it down, I'm just going to ink it up because it is white and I have the cream color here, so if I kind of muck this up a little bit, I feel like it'll go together a bit better. All right, Cozy Days. And we have, let's see, looks like a little flag thing down there that I probably don't have room for now. Journaling here, and then I'm guessing these are either sprinkly bits or maybe some embellishments, but I think maybe I'll add some embellishments around the photo on this side. Let's see what die cuts I have. Like, do I still have this house? I like this house, but I don't know if I have this house still. Let's see. These are the page pieces. Oh, I do still have the house. Hooray! That's cute. Because he is helping Daddy rake around the house. Let's see. I'm going to look in the sticker book because usually there's some smaller sized banners in the sticker book. Oh my goodness, look at the journaling spot with the squirrel. Let's see how we can... Oh, no, 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 don't stick down, don't stick down. Thank you. Okay. Maybe I will go with this house because it's a little bit smaller. Not so overwhelming. And I forgot to ink all of my stickers. Oh my goodness. Here we go. I am just going to ink these. All right, that one is not gonna ink up. Okay. All right, so there's this little flag under here, and I'm gonna make a little flag out of one of these like faux washi tape stickers that's in here. So Let me take, I need a thinner one. Or maybe I won't even, maybe I'm just going to cut a little piece of this off. All right. Ink this up. Shimmy it in under here. Okay. Let's see what else I can add in here. So I have my journaling. I'm going to use my sprinkly bits as my sprinkly bits. Let's see. I'm going to add this sticker that says Hello Fall. Autumn leaves, that's a good one because he's out there helping Daddy rake. Glorious fall. I want a different, how about it's fall, y'all? We don't really say y'all too much, but yeah, I like that little house, right? That house is really cute. That is a cute embellishment. Okay, flip through this a little bit more. Let's use one of these tabs. And that way I can add a date on. Let me tuck that in there. How are we doing on time? Got about 10 minutes left. Perfect. All right, let's add in some of these foam hearts. I'm not going to go overboard with the embellishing. Do I have any more foam hearts? I got 2. I must have used them on another. Oh no, 3. Okay, I have 3 foam hearts. So let's 1, 2, 3. Let's see, can we add in any twine? No, I'm going to leave the twine off. Let me see about... All right, I can add it up there. I'm going to take this foam piece off the back. Ink it up. And let me grab some double-sided tape to stick this on. Oh my gosh. That's stuff falling off my desk. Ah, including my flare. This stuff is so sticky, so once I get it on, I really got to make sure I'm in the right spot. All right, I am now going to add on my rhinestones. Let's just make a little room here. I'm going to use my sketch, so I'm going to put some rhinestones here, some rhinestones. I think I'm going to move them out a little bit further, put them over here, and then we need some over here, so I'll probably put them in the lower corner here. So I have, these are the shimmering seafoam rhinestones, and I use them, I think I used them in my last live. And I am just going to put a trio of dots here. I'm going to pull out this is my favorite new gem picker. This is the Lawn Fawn one. Michelle had this at the event, and it is fantastic. I don't think she's had it in a live sale yet, but you know, if you're interested in getting a gem picker for your sprinkly bits, I highly recommend this one. And let me add some dots down here. A little triangle. I'm going to do another big one. I always do the big one closest to my focal point. Okay, and then down in this lower corner by my Cozy Days. And a medium-sized one. And a small one. All right, guys. Let's put these back in. This is just a box. My kids, there's a candy store in the city next to us that does Snackle candy boxes. My kids love it. And so once they're done with the candy, I steal the boxes and throw them in the dishwasher. And then I use them in my craft room to organize all little things. So that's the box for my sprinkly bits. Here we go. I'm going to hold this up so you can see the texture. So this is texture without adding bulk for the October challenge and the sketch. So you can see I have the embossing with the splatter here. I have stencil butter through a stencil here in this area. And then I have additional texture with the canvas flare and the rhinestones, adding in some more texture. So I'm just going to add my journaling on, my date, and then I'm going to just trim the edges off because it's a little bit longer than the layout here. And that's it. I'm done for today. So thanks guys for joining me. And yeah, I'll see you. I think I might be up again next Friday. If it's not next Friday, it's the Friday after that. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for joining me today. Bye guys.